Hello, guys, and welcome to another episode of Halo Talk. I'm your host, Angels Vlogs. That's Angels Vlogs on Instagram and YouTube, and also Twitter. I actually do have a Twitter account. It's Angels Vlogs. You can check it out if you have a Twitter. I actually don't really check Twitter that much because screw Twitter. Who likes Twitter? Like, honestly. I'm sorry. I don't mean to offend anyone that has Twitter. But that's just how I feel about Twitter. And actually, I don't know why I have a Twitter account. But you can check it out if you want. I don't really do much on it. I kind of just repost Angel stuff. Or retweet, whatever you call it on Twitter. But anyway, let's get straight into the podcast. So last time I did a podcast was last Sunday. And today's Tuesday, so it's been a little bit over a week of Angels baseball. It's been sort of a weird mixed performance kind of week. So let's get into it. Let's start with the first two games of the week versus the Dodgers, where we won both games at Dodger Stadium and swept the Dodgers in the Freeway Series 4-0. This is actually only the third time the Dodgers have been swept this year, which makes it pretty impressive for the Angels to do so. I believe there's three main reasons we won, and that's solid starting pitching, lockdown relief, and Cole Calhoun. So starting pitching, Felix Pena and Jaime Barria both had great starts in these two games. Felix Pena did only go 3 2/3, but he held the Dodgers to 1 run. In the second game, Jaime Barria went 5 innings of 1-run ball, which is pretty impressive. And this leads me to say, Jaime Barria, guys, is a good pitcher. At the very least, he is solid. His ERA is really inflated this year because he's had two kind of blow-up starts versus the Royals and Mariners. Minus those two bad starts, his ERA is about 3, just like last year. I hear people tend to kind of say and think that he sucks because his ERA is high this year. But he hasn't had many starts yet. And basically, he's only had 2 pretty bad starts. It just happened that the 2 bad starts, he completely blew up. And I don't really know what happened, but versus the Mariners and Royals, he just did really, really bad. But he usually is pitching quality starts, and he deserves to stay on the starting pitching staff, and he will because we literally don't have enough starting pitchers. But we'll get into that later. Anyway, yeah, great starting pitching from Barria and Pena. Gets one of the best lineups in baseball, if not the best. So let's go to lockdown relief. As you guys know, the relief pitching this year has been a great surprise for us, and we're great against the Dodgers. In the first game of the series, we saw great performances from Taylor Cole, Ty Buttrey, and Cam Bedrosian. Taylor Cole pitched a scoreless first inning as an opener for Felix Pena. Ty Buttrey came in with bases loaded, 1 out, and escaped the jam with no runs allowed. And then Cam came in the 8th and pitched a scoreless frame. In the second game of the series, Cole and Bedrosian both pitched scoreless innings again, and Hansel Robles came in with a 1-run lead and closed the door. So great relief pitching, other than Justin Anderson and Luis Garcia. Justin Anderson allowed a couple runs and left the game with bases loaded in Game 2. And then Luis Garcia allowed a run the inning he came in, which isn't terrible. But yeah, those are the first 2 reasons. Starting pitching and relief were 2 of the big reasons the Angels won these games at Dodger Stadium. And the third reason is Cole Calhoun. Just Cole Calhoun. Without him, the Angels lose both games because Cole Calhoun went off these 2 games. In Game 1, he went 3 for 5 with 2 RBIs, a double, and a home run. Not to mention, he threw out Cody Bellinger to end the game. Just an insane ending to the game. I was there, and that was so cool to watch. The Angels were up by 2 in the 9th inning. Robles came in, allowed a few hits and 1 run. And then when Kike Hernandez got up, he hit a single. But Cole Calhoun threw out Cody Bellinger trying to score to tie the game. That was amazing. And actually, not to mention, Trout also threw out a runner in the same game. And he also hit a monster 454-foot home run in Game 1. So actually, Trout was also a big reason the Angels won, swept the Dodgers. It's always Trout. Trout's always amazing, as you guys know. So his throw at the home was actually more impressive than Cole Calhoun's because his was a lot harder to play. He literally threw a perfect strike to get the runner out, and that's what it took to get him out because He was barely out at home. I don't remember who was running home when Trout threw a guy out, but obviously I know Bellinger was running home when Cole threw the runner out at home because Bellinger would have been the tying run if he scored. But let's just talk about Trout's throw for a second. So he earlier in the game he threw somebody out. It was a 98 mile per hour throw. And that's just funny to me because I remember there's so many people that used to think and still think Trout isn't a 5-tool player because they think he doesn't have an arm. But he throws out a player and has a 98 miles per hour throw. So that kind of shows you that he's obviously a 5-tool player because he obviously has an arm. But yeah, amazing throw from Trout, amazing throw from Cole. He had an unreal performance in Game 1. In Game 2 of the series, he also did amazing. He went 3 for 4 with 2 doubles and another home run in this game. He's just insane at Dodger Stadium, which is weird because he has an over 800 slugging percentage at Dodger Stadium. That's not OPS, 800 slugging. Every time we go to Dodger Stadium, every time the Angels go to Dodger Stadium, he does insane. And he was pretty much the difference maker in both games. Huge by Cole Calhoun. And the Angels took 2 big games at Dodger Stadium. And just all out pretty great performance from the whole team. But then this is where it gets sort of weird. The week gets pretty odd because the Angels go to play the Orioles, which is obviously a little bit of an easier team than the Dodgers. But they lose 3 out of 4 games. So yeah, we definitely needed to talk about this series. And Game 1 especially was just a pretty crazy game. So we're definitely going to talk about it. All right, the Angels get... So the first game of the series. The Angels get first run of the game after Mike Trout doubles and a sac fly by Justin Upton. And then for the next 5 innings, until the 6th or the 7th inning, I believe, the offense falls asleep. The offense, for the most part, was not good tonight. And so is kind of everything. The pitching and defense was pretty bad. The Angels had 3 errors on the night, and the pitching was really mediocre. We'll get into that in a second. Anyway, Jose Suarez allows 2 runs, so the Orioles take a 2-1 lead into the 7th. Or in the 7th, Calhoun hits a bases-clearing double. And then the top of the 8th, Buttrey had a really bad inning where the Orioles crushed off him, scoring 2 runs. And Buttrey was just giving them good pitches to hit. None of his pitches were really working. They were just hitting liner after liner off of him. And he was actually probably lucky to get away with 2 runs in this inning. And then so after this, the Orioles take a 1-run lead. No, it was a tie game then. So it's 4-4 into the 9th. Hansel Robles comes in and he gives up a home run to Trey Mancini. So the Orioles take a 1-run lead into the bottom of the 9th. And then in the bottom of the 9th, Brian Goodwin hits a game-tying home run. Brian Goodwin, man, he is amazing. He definitely deserves more at-bats because he's kind of just had a breakout year. I'm going to talk about that a little more later in the podcast. But he's one of the best hitters on the team. And yeah, so we're going to go tied. We're tied 5-5 into extra innings. So let's talk about extra innings. So the first 5 scoreless. Why am I stuttering? I never stutter in real life. The only time I stutter is during the podcast. All right, let me try this again. 5 scoreless innings go by into extra innings. Cam Bedrosian and Taylor Cole both spit scoreless innings each. And then Adalberto Mejia, he goes 3 scoreless innings, which is kind of a big surprise because this guy hasn't had a good season because he was just waived by the Tigers for having like a 9 ERA. This was definitely one of the few bright spots of the game, but he did get DFA'd after the game, which was confusing. I feel like the Angels, a lot of the time, they DFA pitchers after they do good, which is just kind of obviously the opposite of what you should do. But whatever, let's get into the 15th inning of the game. Griffin Canning comes into the game to pitch as some sort of mini start. He was actually supposed to start the next game, but instead he comes in the 15th inning. He gets the 2 outs with a runner in third, though. But then from there, he allows a lot of hits, and the Orioles end the inning with 3 runs. And you can't get mad at Griffin Canning for this. For some reason, a lot of people got mad at him for this. He wasn't expecting to pitch this game, let alone come in at like 2 a.m. in the 16th inning. Starting pitchers, especially, and just pitchers in general, if you're not expected to start one game or pitch, you're not preparing for it. It's just when you actually come in, don't get mad at a pitcher. Just don't get mad at him for not doing good. It's definitely not his fault for just randomly coming in the 16th inning. If you're going to get mad at anything, get mad at the offense for going 5 scoreless innings off of an Orioles bullpen that's literally falling apart. Because in the 15th inning, I believe they had their last reliever. Yeah, they did have their last reliever left going into the 15th inning. And he was falling apart too because he literally couldn't find the strike zone. I think he pitched like 10 balls in a row. It was funny, though. It was a weird experience because people started chanting like ball, or whatever, like ball number 8 or ball. People were chanting that, which was weird. Check out my YouTube channel, actually. I made a vlog for this game. Check out the video I made about it. Search Angels Vlogs and then there's a vlog for this game. It was a weird experience. But Pujols leads off the inning with a single, actually, and then 2 walks. And then bases loaded. I don't remember exactly what happened this inning. I believe 3 walks, but somehow they walked. I think they walked David Fletcher, and then there was bases loaded, down by 2, 1 out for Mike Trout. This was just a crazy part of the game. And then Trout hits a double down the left field line. 2 runs go to score, and then Fletcher is running home at the winning run, and then called out at home, even though the catcher didn't tag him. So, yeah, Fletcher was called out in a really close play at home. He was a winning run, and he was safe. Everyone knew he was safe. The ump called him out. They went to review the play. It was just weird because everyone on the Angels was about to celebrate. Like, I was standing right next to the Angels dugout, actually. And they were all, like, yelling safe and stuff. They were so close to celebrating. The Orioles were... This is the funny part, because the Orioles, too, were literally walking off the field. Like, they knew he was safe once they saw the replay. But the weird reviewing, they called him out, or they didn't change the call because there's no conclusive evidence or whatever they call it, which is dumb. Apparently, I believe the rule is if video doesn't show that 100% he isn't safe, if the video footage doesn't show that Fletcher is 100% safe, then they can't change the call, which is dumb because you can know that the guy's safe, but if the video's reviews aren't showing like 100% that he's safe, then they won't change it, which is, like I just said, it's dumb. And also, I think New York messed up on the replay because they have messed up on replays a lot, and nobody really saw that he was out. I think it's like, at this time, it's like 5 a.m. in New York. These guys are up all night. They were probably just tired or something, you know? It was probably just late. They just messed up on this. But yeah, the bad call kind of cost us the game because, again, don't blame Canning for this. He comes in the next inning. It's a tie game going into the 16th. Canning allows 2 more runs off of a home run, which, again, isn't his fault. And I actually feel bad for him having to start and having his stats messed up because the team can't score. And then in the bottom of the 16th, the Orioles brought in position player Stevie Wilkerson to pitch the save, which was hard to watch because he gets a 1-2-3 inning, which is kind of crazy, and he gets a save, the first save by a position player ever. And the Angels' hitter's timing was just completely off from him. I still believe the Angels should have at least got a couple hits off of a